Awesome. Welcome, beautiful creative souls. I am super happy that you are here. I'm excited to offer these 5-day experiences just so that we can have that ripple effect of positive energy and for you to step into your creative desires and dreams and watch them manifest. So just to get started, some housekeeping tips. Just to let you know that if you could turn off your cell phone so that you could be totally fully present, that would be great. Any other distractions, yeah, we could turn those off. And I do ask for you to put your camera on because I love seeing your beautiful faces. And then if you have questions, you're always welcome to put them in the chat, right? And if you could kindly just mute yourself so that we could just have a really clear channel here, that would be amazing. So all that we need today is an art journal, art book, and some drawing materials.
Yeah.
That would be fabulous. People. We could just clear that up. That would be great. Awesome. We got some more people coming in. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so just on another note, we are going to be talking about our life, right? Because art and life go together, and we're going to be focusing on mindset today. So whatever happens here stays here, right? So we are keeping this a safe space. I always think of the Creative Soul Online Retreat as a safe container for everybody. So there is no judgment. This is just about you showing up for yourself and then supporting each other in this process, right? So the more that we share, the more that we have other people witnessing us and then also supporting you on that journey. I think it's great to make beautiful connections here in this community and hold each other accountable as we manifest what we want to manifest. All right. We have Shireen from South Africa. Amazing. I love that everyone can come from all over the world. Hello from Pennsylvania is Rebecca. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead to share screen. All right, and I'll be checking in with the comments in just a little bit. So everybody can see me, hear me okay? Good, thumbs up. Yeah, okay, awesome. So stepping into the creative flow, 5-day experience. So this is going to be 5 days. If you can't make it live, that's totally cool. There is a replay that you can access. I'll be posting it in the group. Let's see. All right, so today we're going to be focusing on mindset because really stepping into that creative flow, it is all about your mindset, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about the psychology of flow, where it came from, how it came about, the research behind it, and why it's important for you. And then on day 2, we're going to discover the blocks that stop you from creating in your life. Because it's good to address those because if we're unconscious of them, they're going to continue coming up. And when they do come up, we need to know how to take action, right? So in day 3, we're going to be creating rituals, jumpstarting our making sessions. And day 4, choosing the energy for happiness and abundance, right? And then on day 5, we're stepping into that creative flow and sharing those gifts with the world, sharing your gifts with the world, because everything that you desire, that you want to bring into the world is a gift. It's a gift from the universe, right? And so it's our choice to answer that call. So do we want to show up? Do we want to actually take the steps? Because I'm going to say it's easy, but it's a challenge, right? And it's a challenge if do you want to step up and do it, or are you going to let it go? And I know that even for myself, from taking long breaks, it can be when you're not listening to your soul, it can lead to a lot of more pain, right? So it's better to stretch yourself and experiment and move that energy. All right, let me just try to get to that next slide. Okay, so a part of doing this process, I love to give participation prizes. So we are going to be doing something about mindset today. And for participating and you post into the group, the Creative Soul Online Retreat group, and comment on 3 other members' posts, you have an opportunity to win a full year of the Creative Soul Society membership. And that is where we meet a couple times a month. We have guest speakers, but we also do art making in the group. So this is an opportunity to come together in community, and sometimes we focus on healing. We use art to heal, and then sometimes we focus on manifesting. So, being accountable for your desires and watching that grow. So that's a really cool community that you can win a full year. So I definitely recommend posting and supporting your fellow creative souls in here, because we are like-minded people, and I'd love for you guys to get to know each other. All right, so just starting off, I kind of want to know, I'm gonna have to go back to the comments, but I want to know, what would happen for you if you had a consistent creative practice? I'm kind of thinking, like, what does that look like for you? Is it like 8 hours a day that you're looking for? Is it 2 hours a day? Is it 20 minutes a day? Is it just a few times a week? I'm really curious if, like, you showed up for this 5-day experience, but what is it that you want to get out of this? Like, what does that creative practice look like for you? So I'm going to go to I'm going to escape here. So, I'm going to do a stop share just so that I can go back to the comments and see, what does that look like for you? So if you don't mind. Oh, hi. Okay, at least every day. I've been on a little break. Okay, so that's from Lisa. Abigail says she wants a joyful outlet. Okay, that sounds good. Creative practice, 2 hours twice a week. Let me see here. From 6 hours regular practice every morning, every day, at least an hour a day. I like how you're getting specific, because the more specific, it's easier for it to manifest. A few hours a day. Yes, I want to paint each day. I'm in an MFA program and feeling stuck. Ooh, that's no good. And Jillian, 4 full days a week or every day for half a day minimum. 2 hours. Okay, good. So just getting clear on exactly what you want is important, because that actually fits in with the flow state. There are some requirements to get into that creative flow state, and being specific with your time, making it measurable, will help it happen. Okay, awesome. Rebecca says, hoping to be inspired right now. My head is too loud to pick out and focus once I sit down to try. Okay. And Shireen says, since November last year, I've been doing at least an hour of painting daily. Before that, I couldn't touch a paintbrush, was properly blocked, and would like to start a day with some creative practice. Okay, sounds good. All right, so I am going to go back to sharing my screen. Thank you so much for getting clear about what you want, why you showed up here, right? Because I know it looks different for everybody. All right, so let's just talk about for a minute, like, what happens when you're not creating. And I'm sure that you've all experienced this, because as an artist all my life, or therapist for 17 years, I know what it's like to stop, right? I mean, I've had periods in my life where my kids were really little, and there was like a few years where I wasn't creating for myself. And I mean, it brought out bouts of anxiety, depression, and it was only because I wasn't listening to my soul. So I know, like, how painful that can be when you're not stepping up, right? When you have that little voice in your head, it's saying, oh, you want to do that, but you're not giving yourself that time, right? I feel you. When we're not creating, it can feel like a contrast. And I made this little card yesterday, but sometimes when we have these times of not creating, it's not a bad thing. I've learned to kind of like accept it And I don't beat myself up about it anymore. I have to even admit, I went to art school and I used to have this like love-hate relationship with my art. It's like I wanted to create, but then I didn't like what I was creating. So it was kind of like this back and forth struggle. But even in the times when I wasn't creating, I'd beat myself up like, why wasn't I doing it? So it's kind of like this ebb and flow. Just honoring that you're going to take a break, and then honoring that, hey, I need to get back. I need to get back to that responsibility that I said I was going to do this and follow through. Okay. So that's the one thing I just want to put out there. It's like, don't be so hard on yourself. Um, and think about like how this, when you're making this decision, this commitment, because it is a responsibility, right? It's like you showing up to do the work. How is this going to have a ripple effect on those around you? Because it's going to have a ripple effect within you, right? When you show up, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to, you're going to want to share that love. You're going to share with others. It's going to inspire other people. It's going to feel good, right? And then what happens when you don't do the work, right? What is that ripple effect? I said it can give you anxiety. It can give you depression. It could give you, beating yourself up, feeling guilty. Um, you know, making a choice here. It's like that ripple effect on the world, right? So today we are showing up to take that responsibility. All right, let me go to the next slide. I love this quote. I posted this in the Creative Soul Online Retreat group the other day. It says, the most regretful people on earth are those who felt the call to creative work, who felt their own creative power restive and uprising and give it neither power or time, right? So the most like expensive thing that we own or the most like the most powerful thing we own is our time, and it's our attention. It's like it's so valuable. So where we decide to focus our time and attention is a choice for us, right? So just remember that you have so much power and you have so much to give, and it's all about being able to focus your time. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about like the kind of like the behind the scenes of who coined the term of flow. And it was a psychologist and researcher named Mahali Csikszentmihalyi. I don't even know if I said his name correctly, but he studied the flow state for about 40 years, and he did a lot of interviews with people of seeing where what times of the day they were in the flow state, how it came about. So I want to give you like the background of it so that you can make this conscious choice of, oh my gosh, I am going to show up to be in that flow state, right? So his term is creativity is about capturing those moments that make life worth living. It's like the psychology of optimal living. Okay. So when we are in flow state, when we allow ourselves to be in a consistent flow state, it does lead to more abundance. It does lead to happiness. He researched that people were more successful. They felt more content in their lives, more satisfied, right? So most importantly, he explains that creativity needs to be cultivated and is necessary for the future of our country, if not the world, right? So the more that we nurture this, it expands. It does have a ripple effect. And I even say that for myself, of like when I wasn't doing it at all, to like stepping up to the plate and showing up for myself, that I was able, like I created a business. I started selling my work. I expanded my art therapy practice, so it has an expansion to it, right? And he calls it actually a psychic energy, which I thought that was really cool. He called the flow state a psychic energy. And it's a conscious act of focusing. Okay, so it's being able to be in the moment, in the here and now. So it's like when you lose yourself. I know you've all experienced it, right? Like you just lose yourself and be painting or doing your art and you get lost in it for a few hours, right? And then when I was talking about like how beneficial it is for you is that, research study says that just 45 minutes of art making can reduce the stress hormone, that cortisol level, right? So it's like, it calms you down, it makes you feel good. So this is why it's important to give ourselves that time. If we can do it every day, that would be amazing. If you can commit to that, right? But it's making that time. Okay, so what I wanted to describe to you is that there's certain elements to the flow state. All right. So one of them is attention, which I said is like the most valuable thing that you own, where you give your attention. The other thing is the flow. To be in the creative flow, there has to be a challenge. It can't be just like something like boring. There has to be like a challenge aspect to it. There has to be a level of control, and there has to be a measured goal. Okay, for you to be in that flow state. So I'm going to just give you some examples. He talked about like a mountain climber. Sometimes it's good to see yourself outside. We're not talking about art, but seeing like, okay, a mountain climber. They want to go from like point A to point B, and they are just like in the moment of dumbing their rock, right? This is like almost like a life or death thing, but they are like attached to that rock in that moment moving. They are in that flow state. That's the high. That's the satisfaction of being there, right? So that would be flow. Now, watching TV, you're saying, okay, well, I give it attention. But the thing is that you don't have control. The people who created that, whatever show, Netflix, whatever you're watching, they're controlling your emotions. They're projecting things onto you, and there's not really the challenge or control there, right? So that wouldn't be the flow state. Art making, yes, we can make art making into the flow state because we can say, hey, I want to create 8 paintings. I want to show up every day, 5 days a week for 1 hour, right? We can make that measurable. We can make it challenging, and we can have control over it, right? And we can give that attention. And whatever you give attention to grows, right? That's just a law of manifesting. So that's why you want to um, give it your attention. And even mundane task, and I say mundane task because it was interesting. We were doing some remodeling of our house, and I started painting the walls, not painting my big paintings that I like to spend my time on, but I decided to do the task of painting the walls. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not in my zone of genius, right? It's like, I'm not a house painter, maybe I should have hired someone to do this. But I was getting some sort of satisfaction from doing this. And when I was reading about the creative flow, or what the flow state is that I would spend 5 hours in that paint mode, and I was actually satisfying. So you can get into the flow state in mundane tasks. And the reason is because it took up my attention. I had to pay attention. I didn't want drips. I was doing real clean. It was a challenge, right? Like getting that blue tape correct and just getting, everything looking good. There was a level of control, and there was a measured goal. And man, the satisfaction of looking at it afterwards and being like, oh man, I did a pretty good job, right? That part also allows it to be in that flow state, right? So you can actually find that flow state in other tasks in your life, okay? Other than creativity, but creativity is what we're focusing on. But I just wanted to mention that it was something that was like puzzling me the last thing, like, why do I feel addicted to doing this? And that addiction is the satisfaction. And it's not necessarily about the end product, which it is, because at the end I was looking at it, but it was more about being in the flow state. That's what's really most important. Okay. One other thing I wanted to bring up just about research, and I love Deepak Chopra. I don't know if you guys know that, but I always like to bring up his stuff in here. Is he does these different like 21-day meditation challenges, and I've purchased a few, and I've been practicing them. So a few years ago, he had one on how to have like a successful life. And I was like, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was about success. And so he, in the challenge, or in his 21-day meditation experience, he had about creating flow in your day. And if you could have one successful day, right, then you can have one successful life. So it's showing up for your one day and then giving yourself that opportunity. And then I made the aha. I was like, wow, what he was talking about were these goals, this SMART goal. It was the same as the flow state. So we talked about stretching more than you can reach. So today we are going to be naming something that you want to step up to. What is your dream? What is it that you want to? Is it art business that you want to show up more, that you want to make more money, more clients? Is it that you want to just create a series of work? Really stretch yourself, and like put a number to it. Like, I'm going to show up 5 days a week, right? So stretch yourself. Make everything measurable as M. Measurable is always putting numbers to things, right? So just being able to see, okay, I started here and this is where I'm ending, right? Make it measurable. A, agreement with your inner self and those around you. So that's really going back to, if it's making you happy, and it's going to have that ripple effect for those around you. And I have to say, even like when I wasn't creating and I suddenly I was having those panic attacks and having this high anxiety, it's like my husband is so supportive because he knows that I need my time to create. He's like, just go to your studio, go do your thing. So you'll see that agreement with those around you, that people want to support you. They want you to be happy. They want to give you time. Record your progress. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, because we're talking about mindset today, we're going to be doing art together in the next 4 days. But today we're really focused on the mindset. So today I'm going to show you a little tool about how you can record your progress, how you can see it move, right, with some numbers. And then the T is time limits for acting and getting a result. All right, so giving yourself, hey, I'm going to start here, this end date, this is where I'm going to, this is where I can see a finished product or where I want to get to. So I just want to emphasize here, so I hope that you guys are really hearing this. Yes, we are talking about goals, but also it's about the flow. It's the process over the product. So that if you're giving yourself that flow, the product's definitely going to come. You're going to get there, but you really want to focus on just being in the flow, giving yourself that time. Okay, let me just stop share just to see if I have any questions before we dive into doing our project for the day. Oh, Christine says 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. Oh, that's a good book. I love that book. I refer to that book often too, but this was actually in his meditation challenge that I did. Oh, Esther says it's important not to make the challenge too big. That's true. That's true. We definitely want it to be attainable. Guilt and question if you're an actual artist or not. Oh, okay. So Serena, I'm thinking that you are feeling guilty about showing up and questioning if you're an artist. Okay, yes, that we're going to talk about those blocks tomorrow, right? Yeah, we're definitely going to go there because mindset, I mean, it's huge, but we're going to be creating art about that tomorrow, which is super important because we can't get to that goal if we have this, limiting beliefs and we're telling ourselves these lies, right? So thank you for bringing that up. We'll definitely address that tomorrow. Nancy says 3 to 5 days a week, all day and able to sustain it. Whew. Okay, so yeah, we definitely want to take baby bites if that's something that you can actually physically do, of showing up all day. That's great, but it doesn't have to be like an all day. So that's why I wanted you to know, like 45 minutes, you're going to have that stress release. So that's amazing. All right. And then the Zoom user said, I'm curious about dedicated space as well. Yes, that kind of goes with when we're creating rituals, which is I think day 3, we're going to talk about space, to how to create our space and the rituals around that. Awesome. Okay, good. I got your messages. Adriana says, stretch more than you can reach, make everything measurable, agreement with inner self on those. Oh, thank you, Adriana, for writing out the SMART goals. That's so important. Okay, you guys ready to get out our journals and get the mindset going? Okay, so just to say, have a beginner's mind here. And what I mean by that, like if you've done this project before, we're actually gonna be creating a focus wheel. I think I might have done it a few years ago in my group, but I have a beginner's mind, meaning that, are you actually using it? Like bring it up again. Like this is one of my favorite manifesting techniques, is that I use it all the time. I use it with my clients. I use it for myself because I see the goals happening. I see movement. And when I make it measurable, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. I don't even need to be on my focus wheel anymore. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be showing you, oh, I guess I should share my screen again. Let me just show you what we're doing. Here we go. Okay, so we did that one. Okay, the focus wheel. So here in this example below, and I have one here that I did, I'll just share with you. This is my current focus wheel. You guys could see that, and I have it down at the below. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna be doing this together. So I've been with different coaches and had other people do the focus wheel with me too, and everyone kind of has their own unique way of doing it. So this is kind of my way of doing it. So the focus wheel is about your energy, your attention, what you are focusing on. And it looks at every aspect of your life because, you can't just give all your attention in one area and then think that the other areas are going to hold up. It's not true. We have to give every area some love. And then as you see that, one is moving, it's going to move the others. Okay. So everything expands, which is the beauty of this. So, the things that we're going to be looking at are health, relationships, home, finances, your projects, those like whatever that universe gift is giving you that like you want to create, travel, what do you want to experience, your self-care, how you're taking care of yourself, whether it's meditation, journaling, taking hot baths, whatever that is for you, and business. So thinking about like your work life. Okay, so I'm putting this on here, but we're going to be doing it together because we're going to get really specific when we talked about being measurable because we want to get into that flow state. We're going to get specific so that we can get ourselves into that flow state. Okay, so let me see what the next slide is and I'll come back. Okay, so also looking at my next slide says, okay, when you look at these categories, which category are you going to put your creative flow? Where do you want to focus your attention? Is it going to be in your projects? Maybe you have a passion project, like I'm writing a book right now, like maybe that my creative flow is going to be there. Or maybe it's going to be in self-care. Maybe you want to create art just for your own well-being and feeling good. Then know that that's the creative flow. That's where it's going to be. Or maybe it's in your business. Maybe you're an artist and you want to sell a certain number of paintings or put it out there. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you that, right? Thinking about that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop share and I'm going to walk you through this process. Stop share. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and show you mine again. Yes, you could put flow in more than one category. Lisa says sort of like a vision board. Yeah, it's different than a vision board because usually when I think of vision board, I think of like collage materials and putting that. But this is more about like a focus board, you're looking at the center and looking at different pies in your life, and then being specific. Right. So I decided I want my creative flow to be in the projects area because I'm working on a book and an Oracle deck. So that's how I'm being specific. So I wrote it in pencil, so you probably can't see it, but like under the projects category, I gave myself a 5 because I'm like in the middle of doing this. I rated it and then I gave it a color. Okay, so we're gonna do this together, but I'm just showing you that like how this is being measurable. And for example, my lowest one here is 1, which is I want to travel to Europe. I want to go to Greece. I just started thinking about it. So I gave it a 1 because all it is a thought. I haven't like started a vision board about it. I haven't looked at prices of tickets. I haven't gone there, but that would be number 2. That would be number 3. So it's like the baby steps, right? And my biggest one right now is family fun. I gave myself a 7 because I'm having a lot of fun with my family right now, but I might change relationships. Like once I hit that 10, when I say, okay, I did a couple of things I wanted with my family, then I would change this. I would change just maybe relationships might be like more social because I feel like I haven't really been giving that much time with my friends. So I would change that and rate myself there. And Liz said, what about home? Yeah, home, you choose. Like, I'm going to walk you through this, but like home, we'll go through each one of them. Home is, what do you want to do with your home? Do you want to get a new home? Do you want to maybe declutter your home? Maybe you want to create a space in your home to create art. It's up to you. Every one of these is specific, right? For my home, my studio, I need to do like a little bit of remodeling in my studio. So I gave myself a 5. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with a circle. This is top of a candle holder. You could use a dish, you could use a bowl, whatever you want. And I want you to just draw a circle, okay? And once you have your circle, you're just going to make it into a pie, like a pizza pie. So drawing it like an X, right? And then down the middle, and then down the middle again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should have 8 slices of your pie. And I'm gonna just switch this up on my paintings. So you have this behind me, you can see me. And for each one of these, you're going to think about, I'll go ahead and write down relationships, right? Do you want to work on your relationships with your partner or manifest a partner, right? Or do you want to work on your relationships with your friends or coworkers? It's specific to you. Make it measurable. You know, say, what is it that you want? And then give yourself a rating of where you kind of feel like you're at. Just be honest with yourself. This is for you so that you can see it grow. Okay. So that's relationships. The next one is, I have business on here. So this is kind of like your work life, you know, like what sustains you is like for making money. Maybe it's just to be happier. Or maybe you, like I said, you want to bring in more clients or you work on a certain project in your business. That's up to you. So go ahead and write that down and rate it. Give it a number where you're at. And I like to do when I rate it, and like I showed with the other one, is I like to give colors. I like to make it colorful. So like in a month and a half from now, when I look at it again, when I'm coming back to it, the next I'll say, oh man, I moved up to a 7 on here on my project, and then I'll do a different color so that I can visually see my growth, right? So the rating is where you are now. Correct. Right. It's where you're at right now because you want to see where are you so that you can see the measured growth, right? And we're talking about Deepak's SMART goal. You want to see that you're growing. And that's what feeds me. That makes me feel satisfied that I know that I accomplished my goals that I put out there, right? When I see that growth. Right. So we're looking at the right now. So relationships next is, okay, relationships, business, health. So this could be anything from eating more fruits and vegetables to I want to exercise a few days a week. You know, just be real specific of what that is for you. And someone asked 1 to 10. Yeah, 10 meaning that you've mastered it, right? So like for me, like I've been walking a lot more lately, maybe a few times a week. I'm trying to get like 8,000 steps. So I would say I'm like at a 7 right here. So I'm rating that. I'm not like every day that I told myself I'd like to be, but right now I'm at a 7. And then I would say walking daily, right? Because I want to get to that 10. And then when I get to that 10, I'm going to put something else there. I might want to incorporate Zumba or do yoga or whatever else. This is moving. You want to see it move, right? Lisa says, I divided my one relationship pie in 1/2 side family, 1 side friends. Okay, you could do that. You could divide one if you need, but you could also switch something out. Like maybe you aren't planning on traveling anywhere. You could say, you know what, I want to have that to be like my friendship pie space. If you know, you can switch it out. This is specific for you. Next step after health is home. Anything that you want to do with your home environment. Remember, your home is your sanctuary. It's so important to put energy there. You don't want to live in clutter, right? I just was having my house remodeled and living in everything being in my living room, my mind wasn't thinking clearly. Like I know it does psychologically affect you. I'm the type of person who's like, I feel like everything needs a space or a place. So, you know, your home environment is super important, right? Having like a clear space to work. Okay. Next up is finances. So what is your relationship with money, right? If you feel like it's a good relationship, awesome. Where are you at? What do you want to manifest? What numbers do you want to call in, right? You can put that on there, be like specific. Or maybe your finances, you need to have a better relationship. And that can be the goal of just like looking at the bills, looking at your numbers, having a really healthy relationship, with your finances. That's one of the specific topics that I work with a lot of my clients with is like the relationship to money. It's so important to have a healthy relationship with money. All right, and then next up, projects. What are the passion projects? What is it that you want to create? Put a number, be specific. Remember, everything's measurable. And then travel. Where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? I had one of my clients create this, and she had put her Europe trip on there, and it manifested, and she wasn't even focusing her attention, but she knew it was there. It was pretty awesome how it was like magically happened. And the last one is self-care. So again, self-care is specific to you, but it's necessary, because if you're not giving yourself time, you're not going to have time for anybody else, right? You got to fill your own cup first. So whether that could be creating, taking time to read, whatever it is for you for self-care, you get to choose. All right. Beautiful. Did we all get finished? Did you guys get the chance to color it in as you were creating? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, cool. Beautiful. So we have a good amount of people here. It's amazing. Would someone like to share their focus wheel? And the reason I ask this is because as we see each other, right, and learn about each other and share what we want to manifest, as we, connect, it actually we're holding you, right? We're helping you manifest as well, right? We're seeing the vision for you as well, and we can expand it for you. All right. So who is brave and would like to share? Lois says that hers is a monochrome one. All the color pencils are packed away. She's moving. That's okay. I'm so happy you showed up. Moving is one of the most stressful, highest stress things in our life. So I'm so happy that you're here. Who would like to be a brave soul and share what they would like to focus their attention and where that creative flow, where are you going to put it? Lola says she'll share hers. Awesome. Let me find you, Lola. Just give me one moment. Lola. You got to be here somewhere. Do you want to unmute yourself? Maybe that'll help me find you.
I'm waving my hand.
Oh, you are? Okay. Sorry, I'm going through. Oh, there you are. Perfect. Hey. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. Go ahead. I'd love to see what you want to manifest.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it really shows what I want to manifest, but it gave me an idea of like where I was at. It was an interesting kind of a task to kind of think about what I've been doing. So I want to bring more flow. I guess I can see where I've been putting my flow. All right,
Yep.
So my health and self-care and relationships have received the highest number. Projects I would like to give more to, and I've got like a 1. And my business and finance are kind of combined because I'm working on helping people with financial advice, right? I'm learning about that right now, being coached. So those are together, and so I know I want to put more flow into those 2 sections. So.
Beautiful. Awesome. And I love the part that you said, I can see where I've been focusing my attention, right? And that really does help you kind of get clarity, is like, is there an imbalance somewhere? Is it that, I'm focusing all on this one thing, but there are other things in my life. I want, everything is interconnected. So if we can give some love in other areas, everything starts to move up. So what are the creative projects that you want to do, Lola?
Um, I don't know. I'm not, I mean, dancing and I don't know. It
Okay.
just, I've been so busy. I'm a teacher. I was a teacher. And so just being kind of consumed with just getting through day to day. So
Okay, so it's looking at self-care because that sounds like there's, when you're consumed in the day and today, you might not be giving yourself that self-care. Um, and then dancing is awesome. So that could either go into the self-care or it could be into like projects or, I mean, everything is kind of interconnected. Like if you took a dancing class, and that could be a social thing, that could be with relationships. So you start to see how they are interconnected. But yeah, try to think of specifics. Like if I'm going to add creative flow somewhere, where do I want it, and how am I going to measure it, right? And that's how you'll see it grow. Awesome. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, anyone else like to share theirs? Anyone else got it finished enough to share? Rebecca says she will share. Awesome. Oh, there you are. Is it? Let's see here. Let me make replace. Add spotlight. Okay. Oh, I put Lisa on. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. There you are, Rebecca. Let me add you on here. Add spotlight. Go ahead. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi. So I kind of have a monochrome one too, but I got a little patterns going on. So my first one I started with was, let's see if you can see that. Okay. So I started with family, and it was my first one, and I was kind of generous and I backed off. It's definitely less than 5. And this is my like parents and siblings family.
Mm-hmm.
And activity, I've like totally slacked off going to the gym. I used to be so much better at it, and like I said, like my anxiety and depression is terrible. Same thing with eating. Like this goes back to the 1000% section, my marriage,
Mm-hmm.
which I have an amazing husband who is supportive in everything I need to do. I'm just not doing it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so home, I have 50%. Education, I have 25%. I'm a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for 13 years, and that does tie a lot into my anxiety and depression. And I just signed up for a critical care paramedic course and a flight paramedic course. So I signed up for them, but I'm not doing anything yet. So I give myself a 25. And then finances, kind of same thing. I don't know. You have to care all the time, and I don't care all the time. So yeah, there we go.
Where do you want to put thank you so much for sharing. Where do you want to put your creative flow? Where do you feel like that's where you want to grow? Because that's where you came here. So which part? Is it the self-care? It sounds like it's in the self-care section.
The self-care where it's low, like 5%,
Okay.
because
And
that's what makes me happy. That's what helps my anxiety. That's what helps my depression. But I just such a perfectionist sometimes that I don't even want to start.
okay, excellent. Thanks for bringing that up because that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be doing art about tomorrow is that block. And if you know it's that your perfectionism stops you, we're going to address that. So
Mm-hmm.
self-care, like you said, it when you do the self-care, whether it's the art making, whether it's the exercise, whether it's taking the time out just to give yourself some headspace, it has a ripple effect on everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is why it's important to give yourself that flow time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I wanted you to see a visual of kind of like the reality. What's the reality? And you're going to watch it grow. Like when you invest your time, your attention, sometimes you got to invest money too. But as you do it, you will see it grow. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing. And then that's how we get balanced. Awesome. So do you guys have any questions right now about this? Have you guys done this before or have any questions about it? let you guys type a little bit. Okay. So this is a great technique. Abraham Hicks has it in her book and about manifesting. I've done it with other coaches, but it's one of those techniques that that makes it measurable. And so for even your projects, if you want to be specific. I think that's important about reading it. Candace says she loves the visual representation. Yeah, so that you can see it. It's like I have these things in my mind, but now it's outside of me. Now I can see where the balance is or imbalance, right? And then what it is next that you want to manifest. And it's so much fun to get to that 10. Let me tell you, I always get to the 10 and then I switch it. Life happens. We got to switch our energy and our attention. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. We did our focus wheel. We looked at where we want to be placing our creative flow. And want to make some art. Make sure that you rate it with a number. And learning how to mark it in your calendar. It's like if you're saying you're going to do this, you got to take that next step too of, okay, I said I'm going to show up 5 days for my art. Put that in your calendar. Let me tell you, if I don't put the stuff, and I have like one of those physical calendars. I guess I'm like old school. I guess a lot of people like to use the digital ones, but if I write it down and I show up, it feels good. That builds your self-confidence that you are going to follow through with what you say you're going to do. Okay. So put it in your calendar that you're going to show up and you're going to do it. Even going on a walk for me, I have to put it in my calendar or I just won't do it. All right. So we're wrapping this up. The day one prize, the Creative Soul Society membership for a full year, which is pretty amazing because I love to connect with you and make art with you. All you have to do is you post your focus wheel and where you're going to be putting that creative flow. Post it in. I'm going to put this actual image in our group, in the Creative Soul Online Retreat group, and then underneath that feed, just so we can keep it all together, and then we can comment. So you got to comment on 3 other members' posts because that means that you're acknowledging other people's, you're holding their vision up as well. Because I want to hold all of you up as well into manifesting what you want to manifest. Does that make sense? That sound good? Okay. And then lastly, tomorrow, like I said, we're going to be doing some art. We're going to be uncovering our blocks, those limiting beliefs, or things that get us stuck, that stop us from showing up to do the work. And if you can't make it one day, there is going to be a replay page. Okay. So this is it. It's called Replay Stepping into the Creative Flow. So just to give you a heads up, because I love that you are all here. And I appreciate you for showing up for yourself. Lisa says, I'm old school too with the calendar. Just, you got a new one. Oh my goodness. And you're excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for tomorrow too, because it's really good to see what our blocks look like. All right. So if you have any other questions, if I haven't even looked at the Facebook group to see what the questions are there, but if I missed it in some way, I apologize. I'm human. So I will try to get back to you, but I definitely like to respond to the questions. And I'm sure your questions are great because if you had it, I'm sure someone else probably had the question. So if anything comes up, please let me know. And I look forward to making some art with you tomorrow. So bring your journal, if you got some art supplies, and we'll be making some art tomorrow. All right, you are welcome. Have a beautiful rest of the afternoon. And I look forward to seeing your focus wheel and where you're putting your energy. All right, it's all about the mindset. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.